Hello and welcome back, everyone. We're of course back, and today, as you can see, we're back on Skyblock yet again for another guide. Today, I know you can obviously tell by the title and where I am, but we're going to be learning all about how to get started into Rift, since this is still pretty new, and from what I've seen, not many people have talked about it. I haven't checked too much, but once again, from what I've seen. But, before any of that, we are going to be announcing the winner of the giveaway. Now, this giveaway is, of course, once again, for 500 subscribers. Thank you all again so much for that. And it's insane that we're already well into 600 and gaining more every day. So that big 1,000 should be coming in no time at all. And trust me, I've been planning, and it's going to be a big one. That giveaway is going to make this one and the one for 200 seem like nothing. So, definitely make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and check that out. Or, well, keep an eye out for that in the future. Now, without further ado, let's get on to that giveaway, and then the rest of the video. Now, this is just some random choice generator wheel that I found, and these are all the names I could find that said they subscribed, and most, except for one, said their name as well. So, right here, Joshua Minecraft did not say his in-game name, so that's just the YouTube name, but the comment did say they subscribed, so they're here, and let's see who wins this. Gotta spin around and around and around, and it is Mr. Cool Pretzel! Amazing name, by the way. And yeah, I will let you know through your comment, and I will get you those 10 million coins, and it'll be amazing. Now, on to the rest of the video. Now let me ask you a question. Have you hit level 12 in the Skyblock levels? Have you gone up to the Wizard Tower and wondered, what is all this Rift nonsense? Have you even maybe gone into the Rift and wondered, what am I supposed to do here? There is so much going on, completely different layout. Your life is not based on health, it's based on time. What do I do? Well, if you've wondered any of those things, then this is the video for you. So as I mentioned in my last video, the Rift added a ton of new stuff. And it added bosses, it added so many new items, it added so many new things to do, so many new quests, so many new, just so much new content. And it's just a massive update. I'm not quite done with it yet, I still have a good bit to go, but I am well into the vampire area. And that's kind of like the second to last area, so I'm pretty far into it. And maybe if this video gets a good amount of support, if you guys like it, if it does well and all that, maybe I'll do another video for what to do after the point that this video ends off on. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, we are here, and as you can tell, I look a little bit different. Now, this is some of the later game armor that you can get in the Rift. And it looks frankly amazing. And as you can see, I have about 41 minutes in here. Now, as I said, time is basically your health when you're in the Rift. You can lose it, you can gain it, and so many things that you get will just simply add time to your total time whenever you go into the Rift. And trust me, it is so valuable. Now, as you can also see, we don't have normal coins here, we have these things called moats. This is another difference from the normal Skyblock world, and I will be getting into those very soon. So now that we've talked about the basics, you know, that time is basically your health, that moats are the currency, and those are pretty much the basics of the basics. Once you first come into the Rift, you will be able to talk to the wizard. Now, when you first talk to the wizard, I don't have the item anymore, and the response won't be the same for me, because once again, I'm kind of later into the Rift. But when you first talk to him, he will give you a item called breadcrumbs, and basically tell you to follow along his path, and click on the yellow particles. Basically, follow the yellow brick road. You'll start all the way over there, and you gotta make your way along this path. Come up here, you'll learn some things along the way, and then you gotta come back up to the wizard after collecting all of the yellow particles. Trust me, you need every last one of them. Don't end up missing one at the base of the tower like I did. Trust me, you don't want to do that. I did that, and I didn't have access to this whole Rift guide for so long, way longer than I should have. And that Rift guide is going to show you so much, it's going to help you so much. But yeah, just in short, make sure you get all of the breadcrumbs, make sure you get all the yellow particles, make sure you talk to the wizard after you have, and you will gain access to the Rift Guide. He'll basically tell you, this is what you gotta do, and, you're gonna start, as you can see, in the Wildwoods. This is where we are right now, where the Wizard Tower is, where all of this stuff is. This is the Wildwoods. Now, Wildwoods, extremely easy, very simple. Sometimes the wizard will kick you out of the tower if you stand on the ledge, but that is completely okay. Now, when you first are getting down from the tower, or when you first come back here after following the path, you will be able to talk to Enigma right here. Now, once again, not the same response for me, but he will basically tell you about Enigma souls and how they work, and then you'll be able to go over here and grab this one. Now, in short, you can get an Enigma cloak from Enigma, and every Enigma soul that you get will add some rift time to your Enigma cloak. As you can see, this gives a ton of rift time, and I still have a good amount of souls to get, so it's only going to get a lot better from here. It also gives speed and mana regen, so it's a great cloak to have, and yeah, definitely don't forget to talk to Enigma and grab that. Now, there's quite a bit to do here, but it's pretty simple to do it all. You don't have to do too much in reality, but it can be kind of confusing if you don't know where things are, or if you are really low on time, as you will be in the very beginning. And this is basically just going to save you some time and some money, because you can buy your way back into the Rift for half a stack of Grand Experience bottles, but that can get pretty pricey, especially in the early game when you once again don't have much time. So, I'm going to be showing you where to go. So, first off, we're going to assume that you have followed the breadcrumbs, you have followed them along this path, you've gotten your first Enigma soul, almost impossible to miss that one, you've talked to this great man here, and now we are off. So, some of the first things that you're going to notice are these shies. Now, these things, you can fight them, but as you can see, if you keep looking at them trying to fight them like anything else, they'll take away a minute of your time whenever you are fighting them. And once you kill them, you will get a Shy Crux. Now, these things are very useful, make sure to get as many as you can, but I'm going to show you right now how to avoid losing a minute of your time every time you want to fight one of these things, and it is actually extremely simple. What you're going to want to do is basically hit it 2 or 3 times, look away, because these do not like being looked at, and then you can just continue beating it up, and you will keep your minute of time, and everything's gonna go well, and you'll be able to farm these things like nobody's business. Now, once you have a couple of these, you can check what to craft with them, and you can craft the Crux Talisman. Now, this thing's very helpful, and every area that you go to in the Rift, you will be able to find some sort of Crux, and you will eventually be able to level it up into the Crux Chronomicon. Now, this thing, very late into the Rift, very useful, very helpful. Definitely suggest crafting this thing as fast as you can, so once again, make sure to get as many of these Shy Cruxes as you can. But, the next thing you're going to want to do, or the next thing you're going to want to take note of, I should say, is how many moats you have. Because as you kill these things, you should get about 100 moats per kill, and you will also get moats by picking up these particles. Now, all you have to do to pick them up is just walk into them, and you'll get 25 moats, as you can see there. Now, you'll see a bunch of NPCs around the place. Most of them absolutely pointless, and some of them can be kind of helpful. Now, this one here will give you moats for any item that you give it. So, for each Shy Crux, it's 100 moats. So for 2, it was 200. I can give him all sorts of other stuff that I've collected, and I can make tons of easy enough moats. So if you're kind of strapped for moats, if you don't have too many, but you need a bunch more, then you can always talk to a moat scrubber and sell an arm and a leg, and you can make enough pretty easily. Now, one of the first things you're going to want to do is, of course, get a weapon, because the more damage you can do to kill these things, the faster you can kill them, the less time you waste, and the better it's going to be. Now, weapons in the Rift, they are far from anything special, but any extra damage is helpful. This is pretty late game, if even the latest weapon that you can get, and it only has 5 extra damage against most creatures. And that's obviously not a lot. But, once again, any damage extra is going to make sure that you can kill these things faster, and that's going to be a big bonus. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to talk to all of the Argo-Fae 3 brothers. Now, this one right here, as you can see, is just up this ladder, and for some kind of landmarks that you can look out for, it's right down the path from that big building there, and you can just come up this ladder, and you'll have to talk to the 3 brother right here. Now at first, you will be told he does not have a weapon, but one of his brothers may have one, and to go talk to them. So you may be wondering now, where are these other 2 brothers? Because this is a big area with a ton of trees to climb, tons of areas to look for. Well, one of the other brothers is right over here on this tree here, which is right down from the wizard tower. You're going to basically just want to come over here. As you can see, it's not far at all. Climb up the ladder, and then you can talk to this one as well. Now for me, he'll say he has a spare weapon, but for you, once again, you'll have to talk to the other brother as well. Now, once again, you may be wondering, where's this other brother? Well, the other brother, the 3rd brother, is right over here. Now, this area does not have a ton of landmarks to look out for, but once again, it's right directly in front of the big building. You can just follow the path, come all the way along here, and you'll be led right to the ladder. And once again, this brother will say, I have a spare weapon, and you'll be able to buy the wild sword. Now, the wild sword is going to cost you 333 moats and 3 shy cruxes, but it will allow you to do 2 extra rift damage. Now, that is definitely no small amount, considering that you're only dealing 20 damage to 21 damage with a punch. So, you are going to have a noticeable difference generally, and you will actually need to get this weapon if you want to progress all the way into the end of the rift, because, well, for one thing, bosses are going to have a lot of health, and you're going to want to be able to deal as much damage as possible, so those little numbers will add up a ton when you're having to spam click and hit them as many times as you possibly can in as little time as possible. And the other reason is actually one of the areas you need a certain item that is crafted using that original wild sword. Well, the upgraded version of it, but essentially using that wild sword. And after you get that item, you will of course be able to move on. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers right now for what you're going to be doing and all that, but once you get that item, once you move on and go forward, eventually you'll be able to get this one here, and be able to do even more rift damage against vampires. It'll give you more speed, it'll give you more mana on hit, and it's just going to be really helpful all around for the vampire area. So, don't forget to get a weapon, as weird as that may sound. Now, you may be wondering, I got a weapon now, but I feel like I'm missing something, and that something is armor. Well, it's time to get some armor, because the armor, once again, is going to give you even more rift time, and we need that. We need as much rift time as we can possibly get. So, what you're going to want to do from this brother, actually, you can go up the stairs, or well, slabs, but they're functioning as stairs, go into this room, up the ladder, and this trafficker right here will actually be selling you, after their dialogue, the wild boots. Now, once you have those boots, you can continue going up the tree, same way as before, just up the slabs, and once you run into this room here, you can go in, talk to this Argo-Fae trafficker as well, and you will be able to buy, after the dialogue once again, the wild chain top. Now this, not a ton of rift time, only 15 seconds, but once again, any time that you get is very helpful. And it is going to be a bit expensive, you're going to have to do a bit of farming for moats, but trust me when I say it will be well worth it, and it'll be very helpful. Especially since you can level that up into the orange chestplate that I have right here, get some more mana regen, get some more intelligence, get a good amount of rift time. All around, you want to get the full set of armor as well, of course. And now you may be wondering, where is the helmet and where is the pants? Well, the helmet actually is still on this same tree, weirdly enough. You're just going to want to continue following up the tree. You're going to want to go all the way up here to this double building right here. You're going to want to go in, and this trafficker, once again, after their dialogue, since they really like to talk, is going to be selling you the helmet. Now, this helmet is, in my and it seems most people's opinions, the just best looking thing in this whole update. I mean, look at that. Personally, I'm a bit biased for this used E-transfigured face. It just really appeals to me, but that turtle helmet is really nice too. Now I have a question for you. I want you to guess, where do you think the pants can be bought? Since we have 3 on just one tree, do you think maybe we go up even more and get the pants? Well, if you do, then you would be entirely wrong, because this one item of clothing is actually on a completely different tree. It isn't too far away, you can basically just run along the top, or if you are still on the ground, it's just over here, and then you go up the ladder, and you will find, after you go up past that one free brother, if you go up even more along the slabs, you will find this Argothay Trafficker right here, next to a ton of ladders, and you will be able to buy the Wild Leggings, completing your set of armor, and giving you about a minute more of rift time total, which, that's a pretty good amount. Now you've got your armor, you've got your weapon, and now you may be wondering what else do you need? You know, you've got your good ol' Enigma cloak, hopefully by this point at least. But I hope you're not allergic to cats for this next one, because the next thing we're going to be getting is actually a cat. We're going to be starting at where we bought the good ol' wild helmet, and we're going to be going out from there and continuing back up into this building here. Now once we're in here, you will be seeing Sad Jaquel, or however you pronounce her name, and I do suggest being cautious here. It's pretty easy to fall off if you're not paying attention, but all you need to do is just walk. Just don't try to expect there to be a block there, when there very simply is not. But once you talk to Sad Jaquel, she will tell you all about her cat and how she's lost her cat and she needs help finding her cat. And she'll give you this dead cat detector item, and once you use it, it will basically show you where... Huh, that wasn't expected. I entirely thought that would still work. Okay, I guess it breaks once you've used it up and found the entire cat. But basically, it will show you a line of particles that will lead you to where a dead cat's soul fragment is. Now, once you have found the dead cat's soul, or more so the fragment of the dead cat's soul, you will basically have it as a pet. And it is going to be a very helpful pet. It'll give you some mana regen, it'll give you more time. And as you find more pieces throughout the entirety of the rift upwards of the vampire area, with each soul piece you will gain more time and more mana regen. So Montezuma ends up being a great pet, and once you do end up getting all of his soul pieces back, you can talk to Sad Jaquel, and I'm not going to spoil the dialogue there, but I definitely suggest going back to talk to her and see what she has to say. Now once you are actually done talking to Sad Jaquel and you have Montezuma and all that, you're doing good. You can actually follow along this path, you can jump, you know, run, sprint, do whatever you gotta do, and you'll see these 2 buildings here. Now you're gonna want to jump down here or go down the long way, but I prefer to go down this way. But once you go in here, you will actually find the Argothay Bug Hunter and the Argothay Bug Shopper. Now I'm not gonna be getting too into these 2 NPCs, because they actually send you on a very long quest line. Well, very long might be a bit of an overstatement. It's basically just a kind of long quest line. It's pretty beneficial, pretty helpful, pretty good to do, and the stuff that you get from them, and the stuff that you unlock from them even more so, will actually help you to get a good amount of Enigma souls throughout the entirety of the rift. So, I do suggest going through their questline. It's as simple as just do what they say, get what they ask for. Nothing too complicated, so that's why I'm not really going to be showing it. And yeah, just talk to them, they'll say what to do, and do it. Now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is actually arguably one of the most important, or at the very least one of my favorite. It's going to be where you can find some of, or well, more specifically, all of the Enigma souls in this first Wild Woods area. So first off, one of the easiest ones you're going to be able to find, outside this big building, you know, you've seen it by now of course, you will see Ribbit and Kermit. Now, they're going to be arguing about who can jump higher and all this, or who can jump high enough, more so. basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to jump up there, and you will be able to grab an Enigma soul very easily right there. No problem, that's going to be one of the absolute easiest ones that you can get. Now the next one is actually right near it. You are going to basically just have to go into here, and you're going to want to, of course, talk to this individual. He'll show you where all of the eyes are. The eyes aren't too important at this stage in the rift though, so if I do make another guide, I will talk more about them there. But you're going to want to hop around to the back of this tree. You're going to want to click on this here wither skeleton skull. It will cause some particles to go into the tree, and there will be another Enigma soul. Now the next Enigma soul is actually another one that's right around this area. You may be wondering, why is there so much power coming out of this one water area? It's kind of weird. Well, all you have to do is you have to go up here. Generally, or preferably I should say, you want to go right up to where Sad Jack Kelly is, and you want to basically drop yourself into this water area down here, and you will be able to grab another Rift Soul, or Enigma Soul I should say, right over there. Now, before I go on with more Enigma Souls, this is actually right around this area anyway, so I should probably mention it. It will take a little bit of time, but not too much. You will basically want to talk to this individual here, Inverted Sirius. Now, once you talk to Inverted Sirius, they'll tell you all about how they need some specific item, and then after you get them the item, you'll be able to use the Rift Transfer Chest. Now, the Rift Transfer Chest isn't too useful right now, once again, but later on, it'll be really helpful. This is actually how you can get the Vampire Minion and the Berberus Fuel Injector if you are on, say, an Iron Man account, or if you just prefer to get things on your own. So, you're going to want to get this, and it's actually really simple. Basically, you have to go over to this big building once again. Now, once you go into the big building, you'll notice that it's actually a bar filled up to almost to the brim with NPCs. Now, I'm going to explain this fast because I'm almost out of time, but basically you're going to have to talk to every NPC. Eventually you'll talk to someone who tells you to talk to someone else, who tells you to talk to someone else, and eventually after you've talked to basically everyone, you will end up talking to someone and they will be able to sell you the item that you need. Now, I am back here at the Wizard Tower because once again I ran out of time, and I figured I might as well show you just how simple it is to get back into the Rift if you ever need to. Now, if you buy booster cookies from the bazaar, or with gems, or if you're just going with your first booster cookie that you get for free, you can buy a dimensional infusion with 200 bits, which really is not too many considering how many you can get from a booster cookie, or you can get one for 32 grand experience bottles. As you can see right here, I have 2 stacks, so that'll be 4 times in the Rift. And this cost me bit under 700k, so it really isn't too expensive, but it can add up relatively quick. And here we are in the Rift once again, and I actually wanted to okay, the wizard just pushed me out again. Now this is actually kind of perfect because the next Enigma Soul that I wanted to talk about is actually right around the Wizard Tower. But it is pretty unfortunate because I won't actually be able to show it, since after you've collected the Enigma Soul, you can't find the thing that leads you to it anymore. But I will show you the roundabout area and explain it enough to kind of show you how you will be able to get it. Now, right around this open area between the trees right here, you will see a floating white head, and you basically have to punch it or click on it or anything, and it'll float away over onto a tree. You're going to want to basically parkour up, hit it again, it'll float away again. Now eventually you'll actually be parkouring up to this mountain here, or this wall I should say, and you can actually see it right there. But once you click on it that final time once you've made it, it will open up a block in the wall and it will show you the Enigma Soul. So it's not too hard as long as you're pretty good at parkour, or even if you're really bad at parkour, it's pretty easy parkour, so it shouldn't take too long. Now from there, as you can see, we're not too far away. There's the Enigma Soul area right over there. You can basically just head down over here. You'll actually find this flower pot here. You're going to basically want to completely follow it, click it every time, it'll keep on adding another flower pot, and you're gonna just follow it along and go wherever it shows you, pretty much. And as time goes on, it'll continue hopping along these rocks, and eventually What happened for me, at least, the first time I did this, I kind of wondered where did it go. I thought it would go over that way, but it actually goes down this waterfall. So you're going to want to be very careful, make sure you're floating, click on it that final time, and there is the Enigma soul right there. Now the next Enigma soul that you're generally going to want to go for is actually going to be right here, right next to the bridge into the Black Lagoon, and right across from that big bar building. Now the only issue with this one though is that it actually needs 2 people. So if you have friends, then you can ask one of those. If you have active guild members, you can ask one of them. But most of us probably gonna just have to ask in chat. That's, fair enough if you have to. And basically one person has to stand on each pressure plate, then the glass will be gone, and you'll be able to grab that Enigma soul no problem at all. So now that you have a bunch of rift time though, comes the actual hardest one to get, right over here actually. Well, not directly over here, but you're going to want to basically just walk up these steps. Walk past Wizard Man, he's useless. We do not support Wizard Man. And you're going to want to cross this bridge. Now, the hard part here is that there are the barking wolves. Now, I'm not quite sure how to counter these, but they will bark at you and take a ton of time from you. Not a ton in actuality, but they do take an annoying amount. And you have to actually kill 20 of these, so I'm going to do that real quick. And I'll be back once that's done. Okay, and here is the last barking wolf. This has actually taken, I believe, about 10 minutes out of my time, if I remember right from how much I had to begin with. But once you have 20 of these muted bark, you can actually click on this piece of wood right here. It'll use up all of that bark, and it'll break the block. You can get that Enigma soul. And that's going to be all of the Enigma souls for the first area, Wild Woods. Except for this one. Now you may be wondering, how do you get that one? Now, that one isn't too hard, but it actually requires you to follow that quest that I talked about earlier. It's a relatively time-consuming quest once again, but as I said, it's very, very worth it. So, I'm gonna go show you where that one is right now. Now, the Enigma soul is of course right there, as you can see, but you may be wondering, how do you get to it? Because it's pretty far away, you can't reach that. Now, the other one may have been difficult time-wise and fighting-wise, but this one's difficult in terms of just being annoying. So, if you have followed along with that quest, which you need to for you to be able to do this, you will know that you basically have to hit these silkworms, or larvae, or whatever they are, and you will get the larva silk. Now, I just missed that one, but we are going to go up here, and we're going to take this one out. And now that we have 2 larva silk, I can actually go up here. I can go onto this branch of the tree right here. I can place 1 larva silk there. I'm going to head on down, and now I need to head back up to where I want to place the other larva silk, which is going to be just up here. You can just run up just like anywhere else, and you're going to want to place it right there. And use your silk wire stick. Once again, you'll understand what I'm talking about if you followed that quest. And once again, you have to actually follow that quest for this area to be fully completed, so I do suggest following it, because completion is always nice. Now, you're going to take your silk wire stick once again, you're going to hop on the wire, and you're going to just go along this area, and you're going to have to break the glass. It's not too difficult, you just have to basically go back and forth hitting it, and eventually it will break, and you'll have access to the Enigma soul. Very easily, very quickly, just kind of annoyingly. If we look at the Rift Guide now, if you followed this guide all the way, if you've done everything I've mentioned, if you've followed that quest, you'll have gotten this. If you've talked to Sad Jakel, you'll have gotten this. If you talked to Portal, you've gotten this. Portal was that NPC in the area with all the soul sand and the skulls in the ground and all that. You just basically have to talk to him, it's no big deal. If you've gotten your weapon, if you've talked and gotten that Rift transfer chest, if you've gotten your armor, if you have the Enigma cloak, and if you've made that Crux talisman like I mentioned, then you'll have done basically everything that you can do just in the Wild Woods. Now, you do still have to kill the eye, which is another one that I can't fully show, but I will show where you can do it. Now, to kill the eye, or even more so just to find it, we are going to have to go back to the Wizard Tower once again. And we're going to have to run up the stairs this time, and we're going to go up the ladder. Ignore Wizard Man once again, no one likes him. And up here, you will have to go up another ladder. Quite a bit of ladders, but, you know, your time doesn't go down when you're in the Wizard Tower, so it won't be too big of a deal. But you will run into the intruder up here. Now, this initially will be a neutral type of enemy, so once you hit, it will hit back. You know, it'll start taking away time, but as long as you just spam click, you know, you'll be done in no time. It really won't even take much time from you. Honestly, those barking wolves for that one Enigma soul will be so much harder to deal with. Once you've unlocked this thing, you can actually go to it anytime, and this will be very helpful later in the game once you've unlocked more of the eyes, and you can go basically anywhere throughout the whole rift. Now, it will cost you some rift time, but that is counting basically running there, as well as also the rift time to go into certain places, like for example to go into the Black Lagoon over there. It costs 3 minutes just to cross that bridge, and the eye over here sometimes can save you a good amount of time if you are to just teleport straight to, say, the bankster at the plaza. And that is actually it for the ones that you can do just here in the Wild Woods. You know, all of these are the ones that you can do just in the Wild Woods, once again, all the Enigma souls, and all but these two, Montezuma's Second, and Reed's Boat Powerful Glue. Now you may be wondering, why can't you do them in the Wild Woods if they're in the Wild Woods part of a Rift Guide? Well, in my opinion, this is actually very misplaced, and it actually belongs in the Black Lagoon line of quests, that is. Because Montezuma's Second, there's a fragment of Montezuma somewhere in the Rift Gallery, but you can't actually go to the Rift Gallery until you've gotten the Supreme Time Charm, which you get from the Black Lagoon, and, you know, that's not in the Wild Woods, obviously, so I'm not going to be showing you how to do that. Once again, I'm just talking about the things that you do just in the Wild Woods, because if you guys want another video like this, if you want another video for each area of the Rift, then make sure to leave a like and tell me that down in the comments below, and I would absolutely be down to do that, because the Rift is my favorite update that I've been around for since joining Skyblock. I'm a big fan of it. And as for the Reed's boat aspect of this, Reed and his boat are actually in a shack out in the Black Lagoon in that water. My render distance isn't high enough because that's how Hypixel has it set, but I can actually spend 3 and a bit over 3.5 minutes to go over to the Gillman over here, and as you'll see, Reed is right over here. And now if you want to prepare for this, you will actually be able to see right here, you need 16 larva silk to do that part of the quest. But once again, this is actually in the Black Lagoon, and it belongs in that line of quests. And, in my opinion, most certainly not in the Wild Woods. But, I mean, Skyblock, or Hypixel more so, decided it. So, just keep that in mind. And, yeah, as I said, once again, in my opinion, this Reed's boat part and Montezuma's Second both absolutely deserve to be in the Black Lagoon line of quests. And I really don't know why they aren't. But once again, if you guys want another video for the Black Lagoon, make sure to comment that down below. And yeah, that's actually about it for today. The Wild Woods is pretty simple. It's just the beginning area, of course. And that means there's not much to do. Most of these quests are things that I explained just for getting gear, such as getting a weapon and getting an armor and all that. Those are very simple things, so this really shouldn't take you too long. And it shouldn't take too many times of going back into the Rift to get it done, so hopefully this helped. And if it did help, make sure to leave a like, and definitely make sure to subscribe if this helped you at all, and if you like this kind of content. It helps out a ton once again. Now, if any of you have any suggestions for other guides, or, once again, if you'd like to see another guide on the Rift for the Black Lagoon, and maybe I can even just make this a series, then leave a comment. You know, say really whatever you want. If you want to say the word potato, say the word potato. I always enjoy seeing random comments like that. and it's always fun. But with that, once again, that's all for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Till next time, everyone, and goodbye.